What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Thingos back again for another video. And today what I wanted to do was just go over top 5 fights to look forward to in Invincible Season 2. Now, the way they structured Season 1 was something that I really wasn't expecting. I mean, you can kind of like expect shows to change certain things here and there when it comes to adapting a comic into a TV series. That's expected. But the way they structured Season 1 was real different from the comic. What they did was they was comic book accurate with a lot of shit. They kept a lot of stuff and stories that came from the comic in the show, but what they did was just switch around the order that it happens. Now, I've said this a couple of times in previous videos, but the way they did it was in the comic book, Omni-Man being outed as the villain that he was when he killed the Guardians of the Globe and all that good stuff. Well, it was fucked up, but still, when he did that, it was revealed a whole lot sooner in the comic than it was in the show. And the show, the whole first season was revolved around that mystery. They set it up, kind of like a murder mystery. People didn't know if he was actually the one who did it or not, even though everything was pointing to him actually being the one who did do it. They was playing up the aspect of Omni-Man, going to the funeral and speaking on their behalf, just cementing the fact that he didn't do anything, when really it was just making him just look worse when everything came out that he was the one that executed all of them. And, it was broadcasted on the news and shit. Like, it's fucked up, right? So Omni-Man, the way they did it in the first season, while all that stuff did happen for the most part, it just happened in a different order. Now, they might do the similar thing for Season 2. So all these fights that I name are probably going to still happen. I just don't know if they're going to happen in the same order that they happen in the comics. So keep that in mind. But the first fight that I want to mention is Mark, or Invincible, versus the Mauler twins. This is a fight that I'm looking forward to. They can really expand on it a lot, and it has a lot going on in this fight. Not only is Invincible fighting with the Mauler twins, but in the background you have Angstrom Levi, who's actually transforming into his villain self, and his deformation that happens because of the machine that the Mauler twins built for him to help him to be able to combine all of his consciousness from different dimensions into one brain, so that he can know pretty much everything that he wants to know about every dimension before he even travels there. Now, similar to the video that I made yesterday, well, not yesterday, but a couple days ago, when I gave you guys an insight or like a look into Angstrom Levi's character, how he was first brought into the comic, and I said this is a neat way that they could start off Season 2. You see from that video when I was talking about him that after he got done rescuing one of his selves from that dimension where Mark and his father had actually worked together and took over the Earth, when he rescued one of his selves from that dimension, they went back to what he thought was Earth, the one that, the normal Earth, and he wasn't sure if he brought them back to the right place or not, because he wasn't expecting it to be overrun by aliens and seeing the Guardians of the Globe fighting back an alien takeover. Like, he wasn't expecting to see that. Now, he did in fact take him and his other self back to the right planet, but he wasn't able to tell. So the whole reason as to why he enlisted the Mauler twins, making that big machine for him, which is kind of funny because people are going to notice that the Mauler twins are doing the same thing in Season 2 that they did in Season 1, being enlisted by another character to help them create a big machine that can further their purposes into whatever they're trying to do. With the first season, the Mauler twins were broken out of prison and enlisted by a robot to help him create a machine that could put his consciousness inside of another body, which was a clone body of Rexplode. Weird storyline, still pretty cool. In Season 2, we're going to see Angstrom Levi pretty much do the same thing, break the Mauler twins out of jail and enlist them. I mean, I don't know. They might not be in jail again. If they are, it's just going to be funny because, like I said, it's pretty much the same thing. But he's going to break them out of jail and enlist them and help them make a machine that can put all his consciousnesses into one brain, like I said, so he can know what he's getting into before he goes into these different dimensions. That's how he wants to fix that. All of that is going to be going on in the background, him being in the machine and him actually transforming into his villainous self, while Mark is trying to stop it and fighting like so many different clones of the Mauler twins. I ain't gonna lie, he getting his ass beat too. Like, they jumping the shit out of his ass. So I can't wait to see how that fight looks in the show. The fourth fight that we're going to get a good look at is something that I also mentioned briefly in the other video, and that is this was actually in the video I made before that when I said top 5 things I don't want them to change in Invincible Season 2. And that's the fight with Rexplode and the Guardians of the Globe versus the Lizard League. This fight is intense. It's brutal. A lot happens in this fight that I don't want to spoil. But I'm telling you guys right now, if Rexplode didn't grow on you, I know he's a bit of an asshole. He can be a jerk sometimes. But if Rexplode didn't grow on you, if he didn't become a fan favorite to you in Season 1, I guarantee you, you're going to find some love for him in Season 2 after you see this fight that him and the Guardians of the Globe have against the Lizard League. It's fucking intense, it's bloody, it's gruesome, and it's everything that you want to see in an Invincible fight, especially for one of the earlier fights before the art changed to Ryan Otley. But still a great job, Corey Walker, in displaying the overall visceralness and just intensity and the stakes in these fight scenes. And I really enjoyed the fight between Rexplode and the Lizard League. I feel like everybody else will as well, especially animated. They might add a couple of things here and there that we didn't even see in the comic, but the fight in the comic was very enjoyable, even though it kind of picked up in the middle of it. So I feel like in the show they could add a lot more to the fight, like how the fight even started and all that. They could show a lot more that we didn't even see. So it's just a lot that they could expand on, and I'm waiting to see how they handle it. Number 3 is another fight that I know a lot of people aren't expecting, but they're gonna love to see it, and that's shortly after Mark and his father reunite after, you know, the shit that happened in Season 1. They're actually going to get ambushed by 3 other Viltrumites, either 3 or 4 of them. And it's going to be a brutal fight that ensues between Mark and his father versus these 4 of the Viltrumites who have been sent out from planet Viltrum to actually bring the traitor in to stand trial. The traitor being Nolan. He's a traitor because the Viltrumites see him that way because he didn't take out Earth. He just ran away. He was in charge and stationed on Earth. He should have took it over, at the very least annihilated everybody that was there, but we all saw what happened with that. Ran away, didn't finish his duties, and that actually made him it kind of made him a fugitive to the Viltrumites. So they sent out 4 Viltrumites to bring Nolan in, and Mark just happened to be there with him, and a brutal fight ensues. This is going to break the internet if they do it right. It's going to be one of the best episodes of Season 2, and I really can't wait to see how they handle this fight. It had probably one of the most entertaining splash pages, like a double page spread that I saw in the comic when I was watching this fight, really breaking down and showing in detail how brutal the fight was, all the punches and blows being exchanged. Really enjoyed this fight, and I want to see how they do this one in the show as well. And moving it on to number 2, there's also another fight between a group of Viltrumites that happens with Alan the Alien shortly after he makes it back to his home world and his the group that he actually is working for, the Coalition of Planets, who is led by Thetis, an old Viltrumite, you know, who's seen a lot, he's been through a lot, he's battle worn, you know what I'm saying? He actually goes against the ways of the Viltrumites. And since he's so old, and considering Viltrumites age slow, he's been around for a long time. He's actually defected from the Viltrumite Empire and created his own coalition, his own little rogue faction to go against the Viltrumites, and it's called the Coalition of Planets. Now, his main number 1 soldier and his number 2 is actually Alan the Alien. Now, shortly when he makes it back to the Coalition of Planets and makes his report to Thetis, there's an insurgent, a traitor that is amongst them. When he hears Alan's the Alien's report, he actually reports what Alan said to the Viltrumites, and they ambush him. I think it's like 3 or 4 of them. Might just be 2. I know it's more than 1 for sure. And they jump Alan the Alien in a brutal fight. Wasn't much of a fight in the comic, if I'm being honest. I mean, Alan, he tried to exchange a couple of blows here and there, but they caught him off guard, and they damn near beat him to death. If it wasn't for Alan the Alien's just extreme durability and him just being a dope-ass awesome dude, he probably wouldn't have lived through that fight. But I feel like seeing that fight in the animated series will do a great thing for just showing Alan's durability, how he has an inept ability to survive unsurvivable situations, And I feel like with the show, they could show him putting up more of a fight against them as opposed to just getting his ass whooped. Either way, it'll be entertaining, and I want to see that because we didn't really see that much from Alan and the Alien in season 1, and seeing him interact more with Viltrumites is just something that I would love to see in the series. And wrapping it up here with number 1, the fight that I'm looking forward to see, the Guardians of the Globe versus Omnipotus. Now, Omnipotus is a character that they could definitely expand on a lot in the show. We didn't really see that much of him in the comic, but every time we did see him, the guy was a menace. He was causing a lot of problems, and it took multiple characters and heroes to stop him. Now, Omnipotus is a villain who has a character design that looks metal as hell. Like, he looks like a buff-ass Skeletor. I mean, Skeletor already buff, but I'm talking about, like, even bigger, though. Like buff, big, tall, has a fucking helmet on with spikes on it. His face is skeleton. Like the guy looks metal as fuck. I'm gonna put a picture up of him on the thumbnail. You'll get a look at him. But essentially, his powers are he absorbs energy. His dimension got sapped of all of its energies, and that actually made him stronger. So he's probably the one who probably sapped the energy from his own dimension. Whether he did it on purpose or by accident, I'm not sure, but I know that his goal is to go to multiple different dimensions, go to different dimensions and kind of sap their energy away. And one point he ends up on our dimension, Earth, where the Invincible story takes place, and the Guardians of the Globe, along with a lot of other heroes, team together to try to stop him. The fight is pretty intense. There's a lot going on, a lot of moving parts, and I feel like this would be a great fight to see brought into season 2, and also just a great villain they can expand on. One thing I loved about season 1 of Invincible, they kind of expanded on all the villains that were in the comic that were seen around that time in season 1, even villains that didn't really do that much when you saw them in the comic, like Doc Seismic or something like that. They got or Machine Head. They really got a great expansion on their characters, really good voice actors to bring them to life, and I just want to see how they do that same treatment with Omnipotus. Like I said, he's a character that can be expanded upon a lot, and seeing his fight recreated in the animated series is something that I'm looking forward to as well. But that has been my top 5 fights to definitely be out on the lookout for when Invincible season 2 finally drops. Let's go over it real quick. So you have Invincible versus the Mauler twins, while Angstrom Levi in the background, undergoing his origin. You have Rexplode and the Guardians of the Globe versus the Lizard League. You have Mark and his father after they reunite versus multiple Viltrumites. You have Alan the Alien. Soon as he leaves to go back to the Coalition of Planets, it literally takes place right after he leaves from that conversation that he had with Mark on the moon. When he makes it back to the Coalition of Planets, makes his report, he gets ambushed by multiple Viltrumites. That's a fight that I'm looking forward to seeing as well. And was that 3? I think that was 3. Or was that 4? Might have been 4. Was that 3? Okay. Well, if it was 3, then fuck it. I'm probably leaving one out. Y'all gonna watch the video. Y'all gonna know what I'm talking about, goddamn it. But yeah, the last fight that I'm looking forward to seeing is the one that I just brought up with Omnipotus. That'll be pretty cool to see them enact that. I want to see how they do all these fights. Looking forward to season 2. Whenever we get some news, I'm gonna be out on the lookout for it, and I'm gonna report it as soon as we see it. Let me know what you want to see in season 2 of Invincible. Are you looking forward to any of these fights? And be on the lookout for my newest video that I drop talking about certain areas that they can definitely expand on from the comics in season 2. And yeah, I hope you're having a good day and night wherever you are, and until next time, guys, peace.